music from Nicolas. So that would be like a morning class for all of us. So Nicolas has we're really excited because he's come here for an artist in residence for the sculpture park, and he has been making art with the Walden students and with New Root students, and also students from the high school, Virginia Union High School. We had a couple classes come out yesterday.
That's where I live.
Cool. That's right. Yeah. And he also is creating a new art installation for the Garden Sculpture Park. So when I've been working with him as the director at the site, we've been having lots of creative conversations. Anthony is doing lots of beautiful stonework there. So my hope is we'll be able to visit that site today and have a little conversation so you can see and explore this beautiful new work of art. I would keep your hands out.
Guys, leave
Let
it
it
alone
burn
until
off.
it burns out.
Let it burn off.
Olive oil. It's really fun. It's like
Yeah, let's try not to do
let
that.
it burn.
That was more of an accident. Let's try not to make fires with oil, okay?
It's fun.
It's hard to control it when we have fires made from oil.
Remember the wax fire last year?
What's that?
The wax fire.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. And Nicolas, and Eliud are here. That Nicolas has shown his artwork around the world, in France and the United States, in Japan, in other countries, and he has a really beautiful story, like life story. And he's been doing this for a long time. His whole life is the life of an artist. I'm wondering, maybe do you want to jump in and start having kind of a little like a mini intro so that you guys can talk
Sure,
and translate?
I think you always get to translate a little bit this morning.
Oh, okay.
A ver si pueden pasarlo. Todo.
So he's passing this around, and you can smell it, you can use it around yourself, you can hold it, you can appreciate it, connect with it with your senses, and when you're done, just pass it on to the next person, okay? I'll start with you, Azalea.
Asilia, ¿verdad? Bien.
Se llama Azalea.
Asilia, sí, recuerdo.
Bien.
Bueno, empezamos.
So, if you guys are curious, this is a piece of pottery that was created by the women in Nicolas's village, in the Pueblo village. And it's a traditional pottery and painting technique. And then what's burning inside, if you smell it, this comes from like tree sap, right?
Sí, ¿puedes explicar la significancia espiritual y emocional de
I
copal?
think what kind of tree is that?
¿De dónde viene el árbol? ¿Qué tipo de árbol es?
Es un árbol, pues exactamente no se da en la región, esto lo compramos en los mercados, pero
So it's not found in the exact region where he's from, but it's bought in markets around.
Más bien esto lo que puedo decir es que este copal que es para nosotros muy importante.
So what's burning is called copal. It's a tree sap, and for them it's very, very important.
Primeramente quiero presentarme, quizá algunos no me conozcan, me llamo Nicolás.
First he wants to present himself. If you guys don't know him, his name is Nicolas.
Cuando yo andaba jugando con los niños en mi pueblo me decían Nico.
The kids in his village call him Nico, so you can call him that if that feels more comfy.
Yo recuerdo cuando jugaba a las canicas.
Las canicas,
andaba cargando mi bolsas un montón de canicas.
When he was young, he was playing with lots of marbles, so he remembers holding the marbles super heavy in his hands.
Y me daba gusto, o sea, ganar porque era puro niño, ¿no? Y el
Ajá.
juego favorito eran las canicas.
He remembers playing with all the kids and winning. He loved winning from them.
Y era un gran triunfo cargar mi bolsa llena de canicas.
And when he was running, you could hear them jiggling all over the place.
Y era campeón. Digo,
He was the champion of marbles.
y entonces a veces no llegaba a comer a la casa a tiempo.
He never made it home on time to eat.
Y allá en el pueblo, ¡Nico! ¡Nico!
And his mom was always going through the pueblo in the village, calling his name, Nico, Nico, come home.
Es como también a los animalitos les hablan. Cuchi, 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 cuchi.
The way the animals call to each other, the birds calling to each other.
Y allá como los animalitos andan libres, todos, gallinas, puerquitos, o sea, todos son libres en el pueblo.
So
Yeah.
all the animals were free running around in the village. There was puercos, so
Puerquitos, ajá,
like
gallinas,
pigs and
guajolotes,
chickens.
andan libres y ya saben la hora de comer también.
They also knew the time when it was time to eat.
Y si a alguno se le olvida, a lo mejor andaba jugando de más por allá, cuando decía, cuchi, 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 cuchi.
And some of them ran far, far away, but they knew when they were getting called back and they would come running, time to eat. munch, 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 munch away.
Y entonces, esa es la vida, o sea, Ay, esto es maravilloso, maravilloso. Esto te transporta.
So the copal helps transport you.
Precisamente, o sea, lo que se hace es así como que dar fiesta. Y ya después se vuelve a fiesta. O sea, es una manera, una creencia de que nos conectamos, pues, nos limpiamos y de esa manera.
So it's a way to connect us.
Una ceremonia, por ejemplo, de diferentes ceremonias como el temazcal, que se utiliza. Precisamente ayer tuvimos una experiencia aquí con Matt sobre el sauna.
So this is something that's used to introduce ceremony, and something that they do is called temazcal, which is what we know as a sweat lodge. So what we are, the wigwam that we're building, traditionally in Abenaki or other indigenous nations,
Abenaki.
is pronounced in different ways. So they do sweat lodges, which is a traditional ceremony of returning back to the womb of the Mother Earth. And this is also something that they do in Latin America, and they use copal as an introduction to that ceremony.
Sí, le explicaste, ¿no? De la construcción temazcal.
¿Cómo es la construcción?
Es
Sí,
como
materiales.
la forma, es como el sentido del vientre de la madre tierra, ¿no?
So the form of the temazcal is like the pregnant belly of Mother Earth. So it's like returning back to the womb inside Mother Earth,
Renacer,
to rebirth.
porque adentro se canta, se comunica uno también con los antepasados, que les recuerda.
Right, so inside the temazcal, they hold ceremony around. So they take stones, they put it inside the fire, they heat up these stones inside the fire, and then they bring the stones inside this womb that they create. And then they put water onto these stones that then creates humidity, and you're trapped inside of the humidity. And they say that they do songs while they're in here. They sing, they connect with the ancestors. It's a communion with the spirit world, because you're sitting here in the temazcal in darkness. You're sitting in the darkness, right? So you don't see anything around you.
Y los niños también platican, pues también cantan adentro. A veces los temazcales tienen otra como contigua, otra donde se pone la leña y las piedras, pero
por dentro del
por,
temazcal?
es otra parte.
Okay.
Y la parte donde se hace el fuego es un poco pegado, pero tiene una conexión, una comunicación donde se tapa o se abre para que entre más calor.
Oh, okay. So there's a separate part that's attached to the temazcal, is where in their tradition they have the fire and the stones attached to that main structure of the temazcal, and they have this connection, this pole that can add more or less heat to the space.
Muy bien. Bien, pues vamos a ahora empezar a hablar sobre esta también tradición de Día de los Muertos.
So he's gonna
Que
start
nosotros
introducing Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
Han visto las calaveritas, ¿no?
Have you guys seen like different traditional like decorations? What have you guys seen that's part of the Day of the Dead?
It's when you honor people that have died and
Is the owner of la
Ajá, muy bien.
Yeah? Wore masks? Ponen máscaras?
Bueno,
¿Sí, parte de la tradición?
en algunas interpretaciones acerca de esta tradición, pero hay interpretaciones fuera de la comunidad, ¿no?
Okay, so that's one interpretation, and there's lots of different interpretations from outside of the community. ¿Qué son las tradiciones que ustedes hacen con la-
Sí, nosotros lo que hacemos es unas ofrendas muy bonitas porque pensamos en nuestros antepasados que realmente vienen, ¿no? Yo recuerdo, quizá no lo escucharon ellos, cuando
They make offerings. So part of what they do for Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, is they make offerings to their ancestors. And we can think of our ancestors are those that were in our family that have passed away. So it could be as early as your grandmother who has passed away, and it could be your great grandmother, it could be your aunts and uncles who are no longer here on this plane.
yo recuerdo cuando ponían las ofrendas, todos, había mucha actividad, ¿no? La gente trae el agua, otra gente trae la leña.
So the Day of the Dead, there's so much activity. Some people are bringing water. ¿Qué es leña?
Leña.
Firewood.
Es eso.
Firewood. So
Leña.
other people are bringing firewood.
Bueno, las señoras están haciendo lo de la comida, las gallinas, están
There are
arrancando
some.
las plumas, o sea, después de que se mataron para preparar el mole.
So there are women who are preparing the food, who are processing the chickens, plucking the feathers, and preparing them into what they call a traditional meal called mole.
Hay mucho gusto, pues, porque van a llegar nuestros familiares nuevamente, van a estar con nosotros, vamos a platicar con ellos, ¿no?
Yeah, and there's so much excitement and so much joy and so much sharing that goes into it because we have all of our family members that are coming that are part of this celebration.
Y vamos a comer con ellos todo lo que vamos a poner, porque también comemos. Primero les ponemos ofrenda a ellos, el pan así precioso con figuras también humanas también, o diferentes panes que ponemos, ¿no?
So for the foods that they offer, first they offer the food to their ancestors, and they offer different things like bread, and they even shape the bread into different figures like human figures.
Y muchas flores,
And so many flowers all over the place.
Y luego la música que llega de la banda, ¿no? Que también tocan música especial así para ellos.
So they also play so much music. They play very special music that's played by like a live band.
Sí, y por ejemplo, algo también muy interesante que a mí me hacía sorprenderme, porque cuando uno es niño, pues ves toda esta actividad y yo me ponía cerca de la puerta, ¿no? Y entonces me decía mi papá o mi abuelito, Nico, hazte a un ladito, por favor, van a entrar nuestros abuelos,
And
familiares, ¿no?
as a kid, it's so much that's happening, so much celebration, and he remembers being in these celebrations and his dad telling him to go out of the doorway because the ancestors are walking through into the house.
Bueno, y ya, pues uno, me imagino, ¿no? Está llegando mi tío, está llegando mi abuelito, está llegando, pues mis familiares fallecidos están aquí, y cuando me decían esto, ¿no? Nomás un ratito, ya mi mente estaba trabajando, ¿no? Mi
His,
imaginación de
his
que sí,
imagination.
realmente a lo mejor está sentado ahí, está platicando, porque mi papá estaba platicando con ellos, así como que
So his imagination was so extremely stimulated. He was watching his uncles, his grandparents, his family members walking into the house, imagining them eating the food, sitting down, because he was watching how intensely his father was praying
está
and giving
ofreciendo,
offerings to
está
the altar.
ofreciendo la comida a ellos.
He was
Aquí les ponemos este platito, mira tío, esta frutita es para ustedes, disfrútenlo.
because he was physically offering the foods to each individual family member as they were arriving. He was offering them bread. He was offering them food.
Y en todas las familias, en todo el pueblo hay ofrendas, o sea, es todo el pueblo.
For all over the village, there was offerings, there was altars, for
Sí.
all parts, all across the village,
Y toda la región también.
and in the whole region as well, and not just in this village.
Y así es
It's a
como
widespread